let's get into our discussion on Brave New World. Brave New World started February 4th, 2025. That was yesterday as we record this. Our first card, the premier card that comes with the season pass. Sam Wilson, Captain America. 2 cost, 3 power. At the game start, you add the Cap's shield to a random location. Sam's ongoing ability is you can move Cap's shield. Okay. All right. Cap shield is a 1 cost, 1 power. Ongoing, this can't be destroyed. Makes sense. Give your Cap plus 2 power when this moves to Cap's location. All
just
right.
Like Doom 2099, it's not just that Captain America.
We now have Sam Wilson, Captain America, and our good buddy Steve Rogers. This is going to help the stock for Steve Rogers, which is great. I want the opportunity Cap to increase his use. I'm all for it. Sam Wilson, Captain America as well. I like the move aspect of this. Bonus for both Caps. I said get Kraven in here. It's going to help boost up Kraven while you're moving the shield around. And I put down Hercules. Because you get Hercules on one of those lanes with Cap, then he's going to bounce him somewhere. You could spread out Captain America over here, Sam Wilson over here, and then you can throw Kraven on the third lane. It doesn't matter where Herc's going to bounce this thing around. We're going to get those bonuses all over the place. So, yeah, I've seen them already, but I can't say that I've seen them used a whole lot. Having something out there that can't be destroyed is kind of nice, especially against somebody that brings up Gambit or Killmonger. This thing's going to be out there. And
I have seen Killmonger's knives bounce off the shield.
That's beautiful. All right. So what are your thoughts?
I was intrigued. I was going to go without, and then I was like, I've got some Google credits. So I went ahead and got the season pass.
Oh, look out.
Put him in a deck with Steve. And then I saw somebody on Reddit say, what about Sam Wilson with Jean Grey? So I'm like, okay, let's put Jean in there. The fact that the shield automatically goes to a location made me think of Makari. And then with all those 3 costs, you know what I did next? I just put Silver Surfer in there.
There's Silver Surfer.
At one point, I was trying to figure out how to get Bullseye in there too, but I was like, okay, this is making it a little too complicated. Had Rocket and Groot in there. Then I tried the deck builder and then went on Reddit. Somebody said, this is the fastest I've ever gotten to Infinite. And both of them had Doom 2099 in the mix. So I tried copying that deck and working on that. But the fact that you can move the shield around, I think it's a great way to simulate, Cap ricocheting the shield and things like that. It is cool to have both of them have the bonus effect. I did already see someone on Reddit saying, hey, U.S. Agent should get the bonus too. I mean, he was Captain America for a while.
See that if that's the case.
No, he doesn't, but they're just saying he should.
Oh, they're trying to make an argument for it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I wouldn't see. That should be written in. Shoot.
And that made me wonder, does Patriot get it? To my knowledge, he does not. But he also works well with Dr. Doom. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here. The only downside is we have yet another card that's a better Captain America than Steve Rogers.
Oh, poor Steve Rogers. All right. Next up, Joaquin Torres, Falcon 2, which, buddy, I had no idea this existed. The Falconing. Yeah. I did not know anything about Joaquin Torres. 3 costs, 4 power, ongoing. The on-reveal abilities of your 1-cost cards happen here. One cost cards here happen twice.
Sorry, but I just realized we probably should have brought in a couple guests on this one.
Because
when you've got Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers, using the shield, and then you bring in U.S. Agent stuff, I mean, who really had chain of custody of this shield?
I knew it. I was going to make a joke about a Mark Radulich card that comes out, and when you play the Mark Radulich card, all power goes to one card. You pick which Cap gets all the power.
Yeah, we really need to discuss who the shield actually belongs to at this point.
That's great.
An argument can be made for Madam Web, because I put her in, and I've seen a lot of people add her, because the first couple of times I played it, I didn't draw Sam, and the shield just sat there.
Bummer.
That brings me back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did you watch that show?
Yes.
The military guy that's helping Sam out, that's Torres. He will actually be taking on the Falcon role in Brave New World.
Nice. Okay.
In the comics, Joaquin Torres is an illegal immigrant who gets experimented on and gets bird powers.
Oh, boy.
A little different. Ends up joining the Champions. I never read any of the stuff where he was with the Champions, but I liked a lot of the Champion stuff. Mark Waid and then Jim Zub after it. So looking forward to that. So that's who Joaquin Torres is.
Okay. All right. Who will wield the shield?
I mean, is it the U.S. government?
It could very well be. And, I mean, my goodness. Ongoing. The on-reveal abilities of your one-cost cards here happen twice. So I did spend the key to get Joaquin. I got him out there. I'm not finding the coolest use for him yet. I think the coolest use was what you did with him last night when we were playing. I do not have that other card, but I'll let the listeners know what you did. Mainly what I was trying to do was stuff with one-cost cards and throwing Mystique in there along with Kazar, just trying to get a weenie deck that would work. Marvel Boy. And then the Falcon was the other thing that I thought of doing something with. Falcon returns all those cards back in there. So I think my first iteration was a collector deck with Falcon where you play the weenies, you bring them back, you play the weenies again, and hit people with ice or eliminate their cards, do whatever. What were your thoughts on our second Falcon?
I immediately made a weenie deck with him too, and then because there were a lot of 3 costs, I of course put Silver Surfer in there, tried to get Bullseye in at one point. Shana the She-Devil was just trying to get a lot of one costs in there. I ended up going back to my first instinct with him, which was that Body Slide by No Fun deck. I kept trying to come up with other names for it. The effectiveness of the cards was one thing, but I was really struggling with the name. I called it 1 Million. I also thought of Miller Time or We're the Millers. Miller's
Nice.
Crossing. But Body Slide by No Fun is hard to top. Yeah, I had a bunch of cards just designed to disable or remove the opponent's cards. I would try to play a couple one-cost cards like Yondu or Iceman, then drop Joaquin on them and play Misery, who reactivates and then destroys your cards with on reveals. She leaves Joaquin there. If I play my cards right, I can blast 3 cards with Iceman and eliminate 3 cards with Yondu.
That's awesome.
There was one time I was playing that deck and somebody played Ares and the total for their top 3 cards was 0 because they had no cards on.
One of the cards that I threw in there really late, but I didn't get to use very much, and I think she would be really useful is Nico. Nico would be fun to have in there because you throw out her reveal to double this card's power twice and then have it do it again. I
either got her to do that or saw her do that.
I need to work on it. I don't think it's going to be it's going to be a fun card, but I don't think you could hinge. You need some heavy firepower in this thing. Yeah. What I need to do.
I do still like the idea of getting him, Shauna, Bullseye, and Silver Surfer in a deck together, but that might be too many things I'm trying all at once.
Right. All right, next up, Thaddeus Ross, General Thunderbolt Ross, if you will. When your opponent ends a turn with unspent energy, draw a card with 10 or more power. So at first I was like, oh man, you're going to be able to have all these big bombers in your hand. So you shoot for low cost, high power cards, Crossbones, Call, Atuma, things like that. And then maybe work your deck around those cards themselves. That will help you get that. Yeah. Surtur is a great idea. You get Surtur out there. If you want Heimdall and you're planning on Heimdall, you're not going to be upset because you're not going to get Heimdall on that 6th turn. You are going to get him hopefully sooner. That day I was telling you about trying to win all 4 locations. I was playing my Black Swan deck, and what the point of that was to get a bunch of one cost down to 0. Anyway, I could not draw Black Swan. I needed Black Swan by turn 4. Mm-hmm. You start out with 3 cards. Turn 1's 4, 5, 6, 7. That means Black Swan was in my bottom 5 cards a lot. More often than I think she should have been. Because it would be a higher chance that she should be in the first 7 than in the last 5.
Yeah.
You would think. But Thaddeus Ross would make sure that if you need that card for this stuff to work, then you have a better chance of drawing. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Thaddeus Ross. How about you?
Yeah, I'm glad to see him in there because he's one of the first characters I knew from watching the Hulk cartoon. With the guys you mentioned, I want to put him in my Shulkanaut deck because there's a lot of 10 cost cards in there, including Thaddeus Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the Red Hulk.
Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not sure who I would take out to get him in there because just about everybody is in there for a reason. I suppose I could take out Bruce Banner, but then I've got a Hulk-centric deck without the actual Hulk. So not quite sure who to take out because everybody has a role in there. I guess I could take out Kyra, but she's part of the Hulk family too, and I need magic for that turn 7. So I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I'm hoping to get Ross because I can see other uses for him besides that. That's just the one that immediately sprung to mind.
All right, next up, Redwing, 3 cost, 3 power. The first time this moves, add a card from your hand to the old location. Happens only once because it says the first time this moves.
Yeah.
So once it moves, that's it. You get a card out from your hand onto the board. It's a nice way to get a free card out there. Redwing is definitely going to be a move-centric card. It's going to be involved in a lot of move decks. That's my...
The only thing is, with a lot of those cards, I hesitate on this one because a lot of times with a move deck, you don't want a random card popping up, you know?
That's true.
Now, sometimes it can get somebody out there. Most of the times when I use a move deck, it's a move destroy, so I can get Phoenix Force in there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sometimes you really want Dagger or multiple man, Torch, Vulture out there. So you could get them, or you could get Heimdall before you want him, or Ghost Spider or Iron Fist again. So I like the idea. I like having Redwing in there. I like him being an actual bird and not a drone. But yeah, I'm not too sure about this one. I have the cash, but I might be saving my keys that week.
Save your... Okay, well, that's going to end the cards that you can get, I think, through normal means.
No, I think Diamondback's one.
Oh, it's Diamondback? I thought she was... Okay, all right. I did not know that. Well, let's talk about Diamondback.
She's in Spotlight Cash because I didn't, until you saw this, I had missed this these other three cards. So I hadn't seen them. So yeah, Diamondback's going to be introduced in the traditional way.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about her 3 cost, 3 power. Ongoing enemy cards here afflicted with negative power have an additional -2 power. The stock is going up in Luke Cage once again. He'll be the answer to a lot of these negative power cards. I wrote down here, hand in hand with another card called Lafe. You could really hurt some people if she's going to go into a hazmat deck easy. And got her paired with Ajax. Maybe you're going to hurt some people for
Play
sure.
Ajax on turn 5, and then Bullseye and Diamondback on turn 6. Well, you'd want to activate Bullseye. Not playable on turn 6. Now
we get into the cards that are going to be part of the Sanctum Showdown. So these cards, you got to reach. I didn't even look to see what it is in order to acquire these. I assume it's going to be something like a level system. I know that the game is a bit different, where you got to get points for each round, or you got to hit a certain set of points. But either way, here's the cards. Uncle Ben, 1 cost, 2 power. When this card is destroyed, replace it with Spider-Man. So yeah, first of the 3 Sanctum Showdown cards. He's
so wrong and yet so comic accurate.
It really is, man. It really is. Like, okay, we're bringing Uncle Ben in here, and the purpose of this card is to get him killed. That's unfortunate. Any other thoughts on Uncle Ben?
That's pretty much it.
Gorgon, 2 cost, 3 power, ongoing. Your opponent's cards that didn't start in their deck cost 1 more, maximum 6. How many collector Airsham/Loki decks are you facing? I mean, collector decks are probably going to be the most common. I haven't seen an Airsham deck. At least I haven't gone looking to see if I've been playing an Airsham deck in a while. Loki showed up for a brief moment at the end of last season, I think. And I can't remember. I think it was because of some location, maybe. I can't remember. But anyway, not terribly impressive for this one either. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. With Iron Patriot and even Bullseye, I've seen Collector a lot. So
all right,
I think that was pretty popular. And I run into Airsham frequently. I mean, you know, if you're one of those people where your player name is like Airsham equals no skill, then maybe you want just an Airsham spoiler deck with Darkhawk and Gorgon. And if you're into that whole Cassandra Nova thing, big deal is. So yeah, I could. And, you know, he's a 2/3, so at worst, he's Shocker that can maybe mess with your opponent.
True. All right, and then we have Lafe, 4 cost, 5 power. On reveal, steal 1 power from each other card here. Luke Cage should be in that deck, so you can get rid of some of that negative power. And I put down here, if Wong's involved, you could go from 412 to a 419 if every card is on the board in that lane at that point in time. So might be a good idea to get debris out there, and that's going to give you some stuff to hit with a negative or steal power. Well, I guess you'd steal power and go down to a negative. So I don't know. It'd be pretty interesting. I think of all of these 3 cards, this is the one that I think is going to be the most useful. What do you think?
Yeah, everybody's going to want to take that on down. But Lafe might be the more enduring one. Like you said earlier, he could work with Diamondback and Ajax and those folks.
Okay. All right.
And if you get him out even earlier and then maybe have Beast tossing back in your hand.
True. Very true. Okay.
Like those classic Beast Laufey team-ups in Journey into Mystery.
That's where it would be. Yeah. All right. Location. The Smithsonian Museum. Your cards here have +1 power for each ongoing among them. And okay, that's a location. Not much else there. So what do you think?
Maybe that's where Cap's shield belongs. It's got an ongoing property of the U.S. government.
That'd be perfect.
So, hey, some people would say Captain America belongs in a museum.
That's true. And then next up,
you just roll out your ongoing deck. +1 for each of them. Then you got Cap giving them a +2. Drop Spectrum elsewhere. It could start to add up.
True. Then we have Madripoor. After each turn, give each highest card here +2 power. That's highest cost.
Mm-hmm.
Highest cost. It's not highest power, it's highest cost. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I assume what I had wrote down here is try and get Psylocke to get you a costlier card so you could lay that down there and maybe get that bonus. I am curious as to how this is going to affect where people are going for the lane.
One card that will be cool to play here is the guy most often associated with Madripoor, Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay.
Not at all associated with Madripoor, but
I was going to say, I thought you were going to shoot for Wolverine there for a second.
Yeah, he's not a very high cost. Drop Iron Man on there, and you get a +2, which becomes a 4 with his ongoing ability. It would be an 8. If you get him on there twice, you get him out there earlier. Maybe you can get him up to a 6, which would be worth 12.
Yeah.
And you got some other cards.
Like I said, I think it should be interesting. It'll definitely affect the game.
Wave could get somebody out a little earlier, but only a 4 cost. That was the only note I had on there. So.
Well, there it is. We are done discussing the upcoming season. Brave New Worlds. Get out there in the theaters, watch yourself a Captain America flick, and then come back and listen to this podcast and play you some Marvel Snap. That's releasing pretty soon, isn't it?
On Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
With a bright red Hulk to share with your loved one.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.